on Sugar Spun Run, I'll be showing you how to make chocolate Swiss meringue buttercream. Hey Sugar Spun bakers, Sam here, and today I am so excited to be sharing another carefully tested, well-researched, and perfected recipe. Today we are making a rich, chocolatey version of my classic Swiss meringue buttercream. I thought that making this recipe would be as simple as adding a little bit of cocoa or a little bit of melted chocolate to my classic recipe. I found out that was not the case, and after a lot of trial and error, I have finally developed a recipe that yields a nice, perfect, rich chocolatey flavor and that still pipes beautifully and operates just like classic Swiss meringue buttercream. So let's go ahead and get started. Now the first thing that you're going to need for today's recipe is 5 egg whites. Now I already have 2 that I saved from my yellow cake that I made earlier today, so I'm going to just add those to my measuring cup, and then I will just need 3 more egg whites. And I've shared this plenty of times, but the easiest way that I think to separate the whites from the yolks is just to crack the egg and then pass that yolk back and forth between each half of the shell. And then you can just discard the yolk or save it for a different recipe. That's 3. You'll see that sometimes that stringy bit of protein wants to hang onto the yolk. You want that in your Swiss meringue buttercream, so we're gonna fight that to join the rest of the egg white. Get in the bowl. There we go. Okay. Now I really recommend using fresh eggs for this recipe. Store-bought egg whites that are sold in a carton, people have mixed results with those. They may work for you, they may not. So just to save yourself a lot of frustration, I generally recommend using fresh eggs. And what's that come out to? That comes out to just between 2/3 and 3/4 cup on my measuring cup. All right, now we're not going to be consuming raw egg whites, so we're going to add these to a mixing bowl. We're going to be cooking them on the stovetop in just a minute. It is important that your mixing bowl that you use be completely clean, dry, and grease-free, and that you have not even a tiny bit of egg yolk in with your egg whites, or things are not going to work out properly for you. In addition to the egg whites, we're going to add 1½ cups of granulated sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. This is just table salt we're using today. We're going to whisk everything together until these ingredients are nicely combined. All right, and now let's head over to the stovetop, or in my instance, I'm going to be using my hot plate. So what you really need to make this frosting is you need a double boiler. I don't have like a dedicated double boiler. I'm just using a medium-sized pot. I have filled this with about 1½ inches of water, and then my mixing bowl is just going to fit right on top of that. Now my mixer bowl fits snugly in the pot. The important thing is that it is not touching the water. So it's like 1½ inches of water. If I put the mixing bowl in there and lift it up, bottom is not wet. That's super important. If the water's touching, you can end up having it boil over, or you could end up burning your mixture, which you don't want. All right, we don't need this on here just yet. We're going to set it aside, and we're first going to bring our water to a simmer. I just do this over medium-low heat, and once it's simmering, now I will add my mixing bowl. All right, now while this cooks, we're going to whisk it constantly. We do not want it to burn. We're gonna keep the mixture moving. We're going to cook it until the sugar is dissolved. So this is going to take several minutes, and the way you're going to know that the sugar is completely dissolved is you're going to take, it's not ready yet, but you're going to take a very small bit of the mixture and you're going to rub it between your fingers. If you can feel any granules of sugar, you have to keep going. If you don't, you're good. Now another thing that I really recommend you do is temp your egg mixture. You want to make sure that your egg whites reach a temperature of at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That way they are safe to consume without having to worry about getting sick from raw eggs. I just use an instant read thermometer to temp them. You'll inevitably get some sugar crystals up on the side of the bowl. Just work them back down with your whisk, or use a spatula to periodically scrape them back down into the rest of the mixture. All right, now we'll just use a very small bit of this mixture. Remember, it's very hot, so you want to be careful. And that is feeling pretty smooth. Let me temp it real quickly. And we're at 163 degrees. So now I'm going to remove this from my double boiler. Make sure to dry the bottom off because we've got hot water on there. All right, now I'm going to take my egg mixture and I'm just gonna fit it onto my stand mixer, which is why I use this mixing bowl. And this is really one of those instances where I strongly recommend using a stand mixer if you have one. Yes, this can be done with an electric mixer by hand, but it's going to be quite an incredible arm workout. You could even end up burning out the motor on your electric mixer. So you can see I fitted this with my whisk attachment, and now I am just going to beat this on medium speed. I'll gradually increase the speed to medium high, and I'm going to beat the mixture until I have achieved thick, glossy, stiff peaks. Now this is going to take some time, so I'm just going to set that aside while it's working, and while it's cooling and mixing, I'm going to chop my chocolate. You will need 12 ounces of bittersweet or dark chocolate. I'm using 60%, and I recommend using baking bars, and we're just going to chop this into pieces. Now we're going to need to melt this chocolate, so I'm just going to add it to a microwave-safe mixing bowl. And I'm just going to pop this in the microwave and heat it in about 20-25 second intervals, stirring really well in between until the chocolate is completely smooth, glossy, and completely melted. I also want to take a quick second to talk about the butter that you're going to need for this recipe. You're going to need 2 cups or 4 sticks of unsalted butter. It's important that this butter be softened, but it shouldn't be so soft that it's melty or oily, but it also shouldn't be so cold that it feels chilled. If you actually want to get technical, you can temp your butter. It should be about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That's when it's ready to use. All right, so the chocolate is nice and smooth and completely melted, and let's take a look at our meringue. So as you can see, the meringue is holding a stiff peak. It's nice and firm. This is in pretty good shape here. All right, so for the time being, we're going to set our chocolate aside so it has a little bit of time to cool. Let's slide our mixer over. We don't need the whisk attachment anymore. In fact, I'm going to shake the meringue out of here. Use a spatula to do this. Very thick and marshmallowy. We'll swap that out for a paddle attachment. We're not going to add our chocolate yet, and you want to make sure that your mixture does not feel very warm to the touch. This does not feel warm at all, so I know that we're good to proceed. If it's too warm, it's going to end up melting your butter. Now we are going to turn this to medium speed, and we're going to start adding the butter 1 tablespoon at a time. We are not going to add the next tablespoon of butter until the first has completely been combined into the mixture. Okay, let's take a look at this frosting. So mine's looking nice and smooth. I'm gonna show you on camera. Now, if your buttercream breaks down or looks curdled, just keep mixing, it should come back together. And I will also make sure that I include a troubleshooting section in my blog post, just in case you happen to run into that issue. All right, now my chocolate feels no longer warm to the touch. It's nice and cool anywhere that I touch it. It's also still completely melted though. So now I'm going to turn my mixer to low speed, and I'm gradually going to add the chocolate in. Switch over to my spatula because I want to get every bit of that chocolate in there. All right, and finally we're going to stir in 1½ teaspoons of vanilla extract. And all that's left to do is just scrape the sides and bottom of the bowl to make sure everything is nice and uniform. And this smells so good. One more mix. And really, that's all there is to making chocolate Swiss meringue buttercream. I'm gonna go ahead and take this and use it to ice my yellow cake though, so you can get a good idea of the consistency of it. And I just want you guys to see how nicely this frosting covers the cake. It can also absolutely be used for piping. You could pipe or spread it onto cupcakes as well. And that is how you make chocolate Swiss meringue buttercream frosting. Super simple, silky, smooth, delicious. I really think you are going to love this one. If you try it out, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I always love hearing from you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.